Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, guys. So tonight we're doing a call about how to get people on board with Young Living. The easiest thing for me I didn't know really where to start with this. The easiest thing for me to say is just to be a product of the products and to really be yourself when you're trying to explain your why or your story to others. For me, um, why I sought out Young Living was I've always had an interest in um, natural medicines or essential oils or things, natural alternatives that I could um, look to for other ways to support my body. Being a nurse, there's a lot of stress at work and, you know, being tired and burnt out and that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to look for something that would really support uh, healthy sleeping and maybe help boost some energy, support my energy levels, that kind of thing. So I actually came across Monica on Instagram, and that's how I learned about Young Living. My mom had actually had Thieves products and bought me some Thieves products before, like years before. And so that kind of, got me into Young Living. And so I think I followed along Monica for probably it was a good while anyway, half a year or so. And then finally I decided to take the plunge and get my oils. So after I got my oils, it was really important to, for me, it was really important for me to see the farm, to really know for a fact that Young Living grew or grows the plants on their own farms in their own indigenous areas. So I really wanted to really see the seed to seal process in in the works kind of thing. So um, one of the things that I found out was that Young Living, besides the seed to seal process that they have a commitment to quality, and the quality of their essential oils is upheld by all farm managers. So I thought that was really interesting to kind of share with newer ones that are interested in essential oils. And they really set the standard for quality. And they've been around for it's been 25 years. So that's one of they've been one of the forerunners in essential oils. I know that when I do share with friends, they know that I always seek the best quality products in anything that I look to use in my life. So I know the Thieves Cleaner, absolutely love it. I just share that, I can use this Thieves Cleaner for any kind of cleaning I want to do around the house, variety of different things. So um, I just share that, it comes in a concentrated bottle. It's well worth your money. It doesn't have all the chemicals and different things that people talk about today. So very a large amount of less toxins, I guess you'd say. Um, so I really love Thieves. So I talk about that a lot, or I'll have it in my purse and I'll pull it out. The hand purifier. So that's a good way to kind of engage others around you. I know I've had a few people say to me, what's that? What's that smell? What do you have on? So it's another way to kind of bring it up in conversation. For me, I wanted to find something that, like I said, supported my sleep system. So um, that's where I looked to Young Living and their lavender, um, and really wanted just to kind of experience that myself. So I guess for me, it's just really sharing the product because it's a part of your life. And, um, you know, I use everything from shampoo to soap to the thieves cleaner in my life, all the different things, all the different oils, different times, you know, when you're feeling certain ways, when your emotions are different, ups and downs and that kind of thing. So um, it's really good when people see that you actually, you know, use these on a daily basis. And I think we've talked about that quite a bit before. But I think Tashina wanted to get into how to actually get people on board. So Tashina, I didn't know which direction you wanted to go with this, but I can definitely jump in.
Yeah, so I mean, you have a couple people on your team. Like once you sign someone up, then like what are the things that you do? Because I know when we had one of our trainings with like Bethany Shipley, she talked about how the follow-up continues, right? So you have your bucket of prospects, and then once you sign up people, you don't get 100% of people on ER, and so you have to continue to do follow-up with some of those people to get them on ER, and then you have that bucket of people that are your zero PV that you have to educate them, and then after that you have your people in ER that aren't necessarily plugged in. So once you sign somebody up, what are the things that you have done to get them educated and get them on track?
Some of the things that I've done, and I know that I'm still working on that follow-up type process, is I've sent them a little booklet on the thieves, you know, 500 ways to use thieves kind of thing. And, you know, a lot of people, even myself, I'm not aware of all those different ways that we can use it and incorporate it into our lives. So that was really one thing that I did. Another thing I did was there was another book about, you know, how to use it. It goes through a number of different oils. I think all the basic ones in the kit. And it goes through, you know, lavender, you can use it for this, that, and the other thing. So it's just a little building on a little bit more of the information, I guess, as to, you know, people might think of lavender, oh, okay, it's great for sleeping, but, you know, to help support your sleep. But what else can lavender help support? So I think those things were kind of where I like where I went with them after I signed people up. I have recently lost 2 of my ER members, so I have to get back on that and continue to educate and continue to kind of spur them on. But any information when there's education from Young Living, Learning and Education on Facebook, I'll share that with them. You know, just engage them by different posts. But I know I really do need to do a lot more face to face, and you know, not just send an email, not just send a text, but I really need to do the one-on-one calls and things like that. So one of the girls that said, you know, that she was on ER, and she said, I think, you know, I don't want to do ER this month. I think what I'll do is I will, you know, I'm not saying that I'll never buy oils from you again, but she said, I know they're a really good quality oil. And she said, and I will, but she said, I just need to take a break for a little bit. So, yeah, it's, you know, it is challenging to try and maintain some education and maintain, you know, follow up like that. But, you know, I'm newer to this, I guess you'd say, but I haven't, you know, it hasn't been my best thing that I'm at. So that's for sure. So any tidbits are most helpful.
So, you know, as you're talking, then if you just think about, okay, this is the beginning of June, what do you think your plan will be? Because honestly, when I share what I do for onboarding, I'm talking about the best case scenario and things that I have not necessarily done either. So what do you think your plan should be maybe for June to do some of that type of follow-up?
Well, definitely, I think one of the things, maybe not so much as tackling the follow-up, but maybe, you know, trying to get them reinterested or that kind of thing would be, I know the insect repellent and the bug repellent and the ticks and all that kind of stuff this time of year is really, it's a really big issue. So I was thinking of, you know, doing a make and take or do something like that, just to kind of, continue the interest. And I know there's a couple postings that I did see on Facebook, I think it was, um, and there was a live from Jen O'Sullivan, just on the Eucalyptus citrodella, I think it was, and how effective it was, more effective than DEET, I think the CDC said. So sharing facts like that is really, really important. But for me, June, I really want to share. I really want to bring a few more people on board this month. I know I can do it. I just need to step out of my comfort zone. I did the raindrop, not the certification, but the raindrop education yesterday, and some Vitaflex, and that was really interesting. And I got to meet a few more people. So it's really nice to see other people that are passionate about it too. So I think for June, yeah, I think my main thing is, as far as follow up, I'm going to get in touch with those members again, and just kind of see where they're at and see what they may be struggling with or maybe needing in their lives. I might be able to suggest some other products or something that might be able to, they might need right now and they may not realize it, that kind of thing.
Anyone else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but if I can add on to what Melissa was saying, maybe give some words of advice. You go with that?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is something that Tashina and I were talking about yesterday. And it took a long time for me to understand what this really meant. But when we talk about sharing with individuals, sometimes we automatically think that we get into the sales mode, right? We get into the mode that says, I need to pull this conversation out of nowhere and start talking about oils, because I'm assuming that this person doesn't already know that there's a better alternative. I need to convince them to change their lifestyle over. And then I need to be all over them to get them to continue to use the product. So one of the things that really clicked for me more recently was, when you talk about sharing with an individual, you're talking about there's a problem and a need and offering a solution. So I can recall back to the first convention that I went to, and this still sticks with me, and I don't know why it didn't click to more recently, but there was a distributor who was sitting next to me at the train station. A little girl fell and hurt herself, bumped her head, had a little owie. And the mother of the little girl was not in Young Living. She was not a distributor. She had no clue why we were all there. But she offered her some lavender. She said, hey, is she okay? Would you like some lavender to put on her bump? It's going to help soothe her a little bit, maybe help calm her down some. And the mother was like, yeah, absolutely. So she gives her the lavender. The little girl calms down, and from there they exchange contact information. So when you look at it that way, not saying that you're just going to the playground and looking, or you could go to the playground and looking for moms who have kids that bump their heads, but you're just looking to fill a need. And then as those opportunities arise, you share. I have a younger sister who is a current member. She jumps on and off ER from time to time, but the best times that she jumps on and orders things are when I remind her that, hey, well, you have this within your arsenal. This is what you're dealing with right now. Try these products. They might be great for you. So when we talk about onboarding and getting a person started and sharing, it really is education, but it's not necessarily a formal education where they have to sit and come to a class. If you have a 5-minute conversation with them and something comes up that they may not even realize is a problem at the time, but if you have something that you can offer for them, you don't know how that might encourage them either to stay on ER or to get on ER. And so usually when you see people that maybe drop off of ER, or they're sluggish in their orders, it's not necessarily that they're just uneducated, but we have to remember that people only have so much discretionary funds. And so they spend their money on what they prioritize as a need right now. So from the aspect of creating that excitement from the beginning and helping that person see that, hey, this is your life we're talking about. This is important. This is a priority. So treat it just like you would your other bills and set aside money every month, and don't order the same thing every single month, because a person who orders the same thing every single month, especially if they're just ordering oils, it's only a matter of time before they fall off of ER. If we're not getting them trying Ningxia Red, if we're not getting them onto the supplements, if we're not getting them educated about the other products that Young Living has over 600 products. If we're not getting them educated about those products, whether it be through a class or through a conversation, it's just inevitable that they're going to walk away from ER, because they're either not using the products enough to see the benefits, or they don't see beyond those few products within their oily toolbox. So, like I said, at the core, it really is sharing in a way that's natural for you and normal, but also continuing to educate the people and allowing them to make those decisions, because they need to see Young Living as a whole. They need to see the company as a whole and how it fits within their life. Dana and I, when we got started, Dana, or especially before I came along, Dana was not ordering a lot of products every month. I think it's because she didn't want me to know that she was ordering products, period. But gradually our order grew as my interest grew in certain aspects and things I wanted to address with my health and wellness, as we started to get things for the kids, and our ER grew. So the goal is to try to inspire that within an individual. Allow them to start out small if they need to, but they need to be thinking about, even if it's 6 months from now, what do I want my ER order to look like? What do I want to be ordering every single month? Or if they are pursuing anything with the business, I need to reach such and such goal so that I can order 2 4-packs of Ninja every single month and drink it like it's Kool-Aid. Just some things to think about, because I think sometimes we automatically get into the sales mode where we are trying to convince people that they need to be using oil and oil infused products. Really, we're just trying to help them see that this is a solution to a problem that they might be facing, and this is the best way to do it so you can get the most bang for your buck and get a return on your investment as well.
And just to add to that, remember, we've reviewed recently the amazing tools that we have, right? So if you have people on your team that aren't digging into the Vital 180 website, or they haven't gone through YL Central, then that's a good place for them to start to get educated by themselves on a regular basis. And then we have that amazing wellness consult. So in our head, it's the season and we should share about XYZ product, but that might not be what they need. They hibernate in the summer and they're not planning on going outside. So that wellness consult lets us ask them what their health and wellness goals are, what their needs are, and then we go from there with seeing where they can be educated. Any other questions or comments?
One of the other things that I did give my newer members when they started was the it's the by Sarah Harnish, I think, the little tiny white book, Learn Essential Oils or whatever, in about an hour, 2 hours. I did give that as well, but
Fearless?
Yeah.
Is it Fearless?
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. Just a little book. So, yeah, so I really appreciate your advice there, Anthony. I always like to hear, other people's suggestions, going along with sharing and, fulfilling a need kind of thing. Also, you're building on that relationship, I guess, too, as that's what we do. We build on our relationships, our friendships, find out what they need. And I like that point, to Sheena, about they may not always need what we think they need. So that's a good point too, because just because we think it's, insect season, maybe they stay inside. That's true. So yeah, it's good to think about those kind of things as well. But yeah, the wellness consult, I think that I could use that more. And yeah, definitely just reaching out a one-on-one with my members for sure would definitely help.
Alrighty. So obviously I'm gonna come from a little bit different perspective because once you get over 100 members on your team, once you're like executive, then you come to a place where like you can't personally do everything for every member on your team, right? And so you have to have systems in place and you have to have strategies to make sure that everyone on your team does know your name and does know who you are, but you are taking care of all of your leaders and you're taking care of all of your personally enrolled. So one of the things that I do is on either the last day of the month or the first day of the new month, like today is June 2nd, then I run my new members report. And there's still, usually 20 or less new members on my team so that I can still send them an email. So every single person on my team, no matter who signed them up, get a welcome email from me. And in that welcome email, they get information of where to find things and how to get educated. So in the welcome email, they get a video that about how to use the oils in their kit. They get where our Facebook groups are. If I didn't find them on Facebook and I haven't added them to a group so that they can choose to join. They get the link to Vital 180. They get my Google Doc form that is basically like the wellness consult where they can fill that out and they can tell me what kind of classes they want to have and what they're interested in learning. They get the link to Life Science Publishers and a few other things. And I have that welcome email in both English and in Spanish since Carrie had like an amazing month last month and she's constantly signing up people in Ecuador. And then Roxana also signs up people whose first language is Spanish. So I have that welcome email in both English and Spanish. So no matter where you are on my team, everyone gets that so that they at least know. And I say, a lot of times if I've met them, then I can say, or I know exactly who signed them up, then I say, hey, I'm a friend of so-and-so's and part of your support team. Or I'll say, hey, I am Dana's sister and part of your support team. So I'll try to personalize it as much as possible and let them know and just say, hey, if you have trouble getting a hold of so-and-so, then I'm here as an additional resource for you. But they are awesome, they're wonderful, and they will take wonderful care of you. So it's an opportunity for me to edify the rest of the people on my team as well. So that's really good. Then after that, everyone on my team also gets a postcard. So I take that list of the new members and they get a welcome postcard. And in that welcome postcard, it talks about, I have one of the graphics of, hey, share with 4 people and get your kit for free. And then it tells them about the next 2 or 3 upcoming classes. So they're going to have one of our in-person classes. It's going to remind them, hey, if you haven't done so, check out Vital 180. And they're going to have a Facebook class. So and then, if they happen to be out of state, then I would try to give them the next 2 Facebook classes. And so then that's what we continue to do. Make sure that we have a Facebook class in English and one in Spanish every single month, open to everyone, because there are a lot of people that are in different areas and won't be able to come to the in-person classes. But then about 70% of my team is local. So we also have local classes and promote that for people to get educated on a regular basis. And those are linked to what the season should be. Right, so the class that we're doing this month is summer fun and all that good stuff. Then from there, I do try to make sure if I see somebody sharing that they get a congratulations when they get a new sign up. Also, definitely within the first 3 months, all of those new people are going to get an additional postcard from me. And then they also get, I always program in the beginning a happy anniversary postcard. And so at the very least, if somebody's gone inactive on my team, I know that at least I've reached out to them 3 or 4 times. And so if they've gone inactive, at the very least, they can't ever say, well, nobody even tried to contact me, which I'll be at vendor events and people will come up to me and say that, like, I never hear from my upline. So at least that won't be their complaint. Their complaint will be something completely different. And then what I need to start implementing and doing on a regular basis is a lot of things that Melissa mentioned, like having those Thieve brochures from the virtual office, having the Ninja Red brochures from the virtual office, and actually not just sending a postcard, but sending out some Happy Mail or some Care Club, packets out. I have to get back into doing that because I have not been doing that on a regular basis for my personally enrolled people. And then for the ones that are local, a lot of times I will have those on hand when we're at classes. I say, hey, has so-and-so gotten this brochure, or has so-and-so gotten the share guide, or has so-and-so gotten this? And then I'll just be the one that funds it because I'm the higher rank and I can afford to do that. And I'll make sure the people that are local get a lot of that information. The other thing that we try to do is a text campaign. It can be upgraded a little bit more and more regular because I still have not figured out my project broadcast, but maybe on the cruise I'll have time to figure out my project broadcast. But you can find through different systems. You can find on Vital 180, or there's a whole bunch of other places that you can find a 14 to 21 day text campaign. So that's always a good thing to do with your personal signups. And then again, like Melissa was also mentioning, it's really good for to get with your personal signups. And within that first 3 months, Shannon Hudson always stresses, that first 3 months is when you're having weekly communication with them and you're touching base with them and you're making sharing easy for them. And you're trying to set up their first class where you do it for them, and their second class where you kind of share it, and their third class where they're the ones that run it. And so if you haven't set up a class with them, at least set up that one-on-one within the first 3 months so that you can go over the wellness consult, because maybe they didn't fill out the Google Doc that you sent, or maybe they haven't dug into. And so you can do some virtual office walk with them. And you can do that, via Zoom or via whatever is most convenient for them if they're not local. But that's another good thing to do with all of your personal signups. So if I had a working computer, so I moved and Zoom has not been working very good on my computer because I'm using a mobile hotspot. I don't have my Comcast hooked up yet. If I had it, then I was planning on sharing, and that would take a lot longer because I could go over the details of what I have. But let me see if I can actually, at the very least, look at like some of the things just to double check. So yeah, my welcome email that I send, I say welcome to the Young Living family, and I have the Google Doc that kind of comparable to the wellness consult. I say make sure you go into your virtual office and get into YL Central as soon as possible. Then I have a video that recaps how to use their starter kit. Oh, I recommend they subscribe to my YouTube channel and Dana and Anthony's YouTube channel, because there's tons of, we have over 300 videos for education on there. Let them know to sign into vital180.com to get some education. I send them the virtual welcome booklet. So again, it's really important to make sure we had a whole call where we talked about how awesome our welcome booklet is, but I send it to them virtually. And then it's important to mail it to them if they're not with you, or to hand it to them if they're in person. Recommend the Facebook group. And then if they need to place another order, I have the Young Living official video about essential rewards, the link to Life Science Publishers, and then making sure they know where my Facebook page is, where we have all of our classes, my phone number, and then I mentioned that we do have our Zoom calls on Sundays, and to check back with me if they have some information. So it's always really good to see, probably like 2 out of 10 people that actually fill out the Google Doc. They're giving us that information. We know how to craft our classes and help them. So that's always really cool. Or to have somebody respond and say, thanks so much, greatly appreciated. And then again, once they get the postcard from me, they will already have gotten the email. And so now that's another thing, you know, like Anthony was mentioning, is not necessarily having a full class but it's a bunch of different exposures, right? So whoever signed them up, no matter what, they've learned about Young Living, and then I'm emailing them and saying, hey, I'm another resource and here's some stuff about Young Living, and then they get a postcard from me. So that becomes several exposures. And again, if they didn't sign up for ER right away and they're a zero PV, they need all those multiple exposures for them to remember, oh yeah, this is what I was going to do to be healthy. Oh yeah, this is what I want to research and get into. Maybe I'll drop in at one of those classes. Maybe I'll drop in that Facebook group to try to get some information. So that's basically what I had to share. Again, it would have took a little bit longer if I could share my screen like I wanted to show you guys like the actual postcards that I send and what my welcome letter actually looks like, but I can't get onto my computer in order to be able to share it. So I'll have to do that some other time. Any questions or comments?
I don't have a question, but I'll add to this, and I apologize because I did miss part of the beginning of this call. So if someone already stated this, then you guys can stop me. But I was just going to mention a little something that I do when I get people started too. I do like the text campaign thing, and I use the Vita 180s. Did you guys already talk about that?
I mentioned it briefly, and you have an opportunity to do this for 30 minutes like next week. Because we have it scheduled for next 2 weeks.
And I'm talking about getting started?
Mm-hmm. We have on the schedule for 2 people. It was 2 people this week. And this was a suggestion that Karen and Marlene had, which I thought was an amazing suggestion for the calls, is to go over their full onboarding process.
Okay.
So right now, we need 2 volunteers for next week and 2 volunteers for the following week to go through their entire onboarding process.
Okay.
So I can happily say that I need to get my process down pat, and I need to, follow up is one of those things, but definitely you went through thoroughly what it needs to look like, and a lot of good suggestions there, so I really appreciate that. And maybe next week, I don't know if you'll be able to have your computer up, but maybe we can see those other things you were going to try and show us. Thank you, Tashina.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to see the welcome letter, I can always just upload it into the Happy Oiler page or email it to somebody as well. And then I could also screenshot like what for the, 1 second, let me pull it up. Because one of the things I did, I was like, okay, before I talk about this, let me get all this out. So I got out my emails today and I got out my postcards. So let me actually pull up the postcard, and it's just better for you to see it visually, but I can at least read with like what I have on it. But yeah, I got to get my process down too. This is like best case scenario, and sometimes we're not operating at 100% for various reasons. So that's why we love, just like when Karen did her call and she's like, this was good for me. Good reminders. Like, this is why it's good for me to do this. Be like, yes, get on track and do all these things that you used to do. So yeah, so the first graphic that I have is the 4 or more, so that people know, hey, there's an opportunity for you to share. And then I have the Vital 180 graphic that talks about education, and then the one that talks about essential rewards. And then I say, hello, welcome once again, because they would have already gotten an email from me to the Young Living family, wanting to send you info on the best way to reorder, as well as information to get you educated. Don't forget to sign up for Vital 180. And here's our next classes where you can get educated. So, yep.
Thank you, Tashina. That's great. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So we'll volunteer in the chat, in the group, or just let you know who wants to volunteer for those 2 weeks.
Yeah, we can put it in the chat and ask who wants to. Probably, I'm thinking it might be better to like direct message probably Karen and Marlene as well, see when they were ready, since it was their idea.
Okay. Cool. Have we talked events yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Who's in?
Hmm?
Who's in?
Events.
Oh.
Okay. Does anybody have any? Dana says, "Who's Vince?" I said, "Events." But does anyone have any events that they would like to promote at this time? Once again, I know we do have the team dinner on Tuesday at 7:00, Rusty Bucket, and that's Bloomfield, right? So we have that coming up this week. And does anybody have anything else they want to let everyone know about?
So then Friday, June 14th, we already had on the schedule for our Dearborn Heights one, which is going to be Active and Fit Summer. I will still be on the cruise, so I won't actually be there, but I will be sending out my postcards in the next couple of days to the rest of my team in the Dearborn area so that they know about it. Then the third Tuesday is when I always do my Facebook class, open to all, available to all. So that's just going to be the online version and repeat of the summer fun for those that can't come in person, because we know people start getting super busy in the summer. And then the last Tuesday is going to be the Spanish version of that. So again, as we're talking about exposures, those classes are always open to the public. So if you don't have all your people invited to those classes, you can start inviting them tonight, and that's one additional exposure for you. And I have put all of the classes out there through August because I am traveling a lot. I got the cruise, got the Young Living Convention, and then I'm going to their international convention in the Netherlands. And so I just want to have everything out there and on a calendar set and ready to go. So you will find all of the information already out there through August for me. And that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and close out the call then. And if anything changes, feel free to promote those events. Let us know. We're getting right into convention season. So for all of those who are going, we're going to be excited to see you guys there. I am also putting this out here that Dana and I have room for 1 to 2 more people in our Airbnb for those who may have team members who are going or who are going who still need accommodation. So feel free to direct message Dana and I for more details about that if you'd like. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're really looking forward to that as well. So hopefully we'll see as many as possible there. But with that,
one other thing, there's supposed to be 40 new products. Everybody's been talking about how Young Living did officially buy Nature's Ultra, so we own it. It's a subsidiary right now, so it's quite possible that by convention we will have some CBD oil starter kits and or PV on them. They're working really hard on getting that. And then I don't know if everybody's seen that within the last 2 hours we got 2 flash sales going on. I don't know if everybody saw that. So there is in honor of Young Living celebrating Father's Day, there is a Shutran bundle available for quick order. And then there is a silver anniversary edition of the diffuser with a 15 milliliter vialer and a 15 milliliter Peace and Calming. I have never seen those ever in my life. Like, they haven't been available for the whole time I've been in this company for over 4 years. I've never seen them ever. So, and yeah, I'm getting 2 of those diffusers. So with the cruise going on, which is the start of our 25th silver anniversary celebration, that those flash sales are going on tomorrow, just in case you hadn't seen them. So for those that are watching the replay first thing in the morning, by the time you see this, probably the sales will be going on starting 10 a.m. Mountain, I believe. Yes, so noon Eastern. So you'll be super excited and almost ready to order by the time you watch the replay.
Tashina, did you say there's 40 new products coming out?
At convention, yes.
Wow.
So, I mean, they've been really launching a lot of the Savvy, right? They've been launching seasonal. There's been talk about hair care stuff. There's been talk about liquid makeup being there's been so much talk about what's in the pipeline. I can't guarantee any of it will be ready during convention, but something will be because they're launching 40 products. That was one of the things that, you know, they had the diamond call about 3 days ago, and so there's all these things that have been popping up in different groups. So that was one of the things that was made clear, is that they're gonna have 40 new products.
It's amazing.
Okay, so with that, I think we can close the call, but Ginny wanted me to stay on so we could chat about our dinner on Friday when I'm in Washington.
All right, we'll
See you
see you guys.
later.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Good job,
Bye.
Melissa. Good job.